You breathe, you eat, you live. And with every single one of those actions, you're gambling against an army of invisible invaders. They're ancient, they're relentless, and there are more of them than you can possibly imagine. They are viruses. These microscopic hijackers have spent millennia perfecting their attack strategies, and your body is the ultimate prize. We're about to pull back the curtain on the 4 main gateways these viruses use to breach your body's defenses and take over your system. From a simple breath to a shared meal, the battle is always on, and knowing the enemy's playbook is the first step to staying one step ahead. Before a virus can hijack your system, it has to get inside. But what is a virus, really? It isn't technically alive. Think of it less like an organism and more like a tiny, malicious thumb drive. It's just a bit of genetic code, DNA or RNA, wrapped in a protective protein shell. A virus can't reproduce on its own. It's a parasite that needs a host. It needs your cells. To get in, a virus has to find a perfect match on the surface of one of your cells, like a key fitting a very specific lock. Your cells are covered in proteins called receptors, which act as doorways for all kinds of essential signals. Viruses have evolved to carry a key, a protein on their surface that fools your cell into thinking it's a friendly molecule and letting it in. If the key doesn't fit that lock, the virus can't get in. But if it does, the invasion begins. So what's the most common superhighway for these invaders? It's the very air you're breathing right now. The respiratory tract is the single most frequent entry point for viruses. A person at rest inhales around 2 gallons of air every single minute, and each one of those breaths can carry microscopic droplets from someone else's cough or sneeze. When an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes, they shoot out tiny aerosolized particles loaded with viruses. You breathe them in, and that's how viruses like influenza, rhinoviruses, and coronaviruses get their start. Now, your airways do have defenses, like sticky mucus and tiny sweeping hairs called cilia that are designed to trap and eject intruders. But these viruses are experts at navigating the obstacle course, eventually finding a cell with the right receptor lock, often deep inside your lungs. It's not just the air. Viruses can also storm the castle through what you eat and drink. This is the digestive route of entry. Viruses like norovirus and hepatitis A are often transmitted through contaminated food or water. This path is a brutal gauntlet. Any virus that enters your stomach has to survive a bath in corrosive acid, powerful digestive enzymes, and detergent-like bile in the intestines. Most don't make it, but the ones that succeed are built differently. They're like little armored transports with tough outer shells that can resist these harsh conditions. Poliovirus, for example, is famously acid-resistant and can thrive in this environment, eventually finding and infecting the cells that line your gut. Your body's most obvious defense is your skin. It's a tough, nearly impenetrable wall that keeps countless threats out. But even the strongest fortress has its weak spots. While intact skin is an amazing barrier, viruses of exploiting any break, no matter how small, a tiny cut, a scrape, or even an insect bite. And it's not just about cuts on your skin. Viruses can also directly target your mucous membranes, those moist, less protected surfaces of your eyes, mouth, and genital tract. These areas are natural weak points. Human papillomavirus, or HPV, can get in through microscopic abrasions in the skin or mucous membranes, while herpes simplex virus easily infects the mucosal surfaces of the mouth or genitals. Finally, there's a route of entry that relies on our closest physical bonds. Sexual transmission happens when viruses cross the mucosal membranes of the genital or anal tracts during sexual activity. These membranes offer a direct runway for viruses to find and invade susceptible cells. Viruses like human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, and herpes simplex virus, HSV, are prime examples of pathogens that have mastered this route. They bind to specific receptors on cells within these tracts, bypassing local defenses to establish a lasting infection. Once inside, the virus is no longer a passive package. It's an active hijacker. It injects its genetic material and tricks your cell's own machinery into dropping everything and producing thousands of new copies of the virus. Eventually, the host cell is destroyed, bursting open to release a fresh wave of viral particles, all ready to infect more cells. If you learned something new about the constant battle your body is waging, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the science that shapes our lives. From the air we breathe and the food we eat, to tiny breaks in our skin and our most intimate connections, viruses have evolved incredibly sophisticated ways to invade our bodies. They are a constant, invisible threat, operating on a scale too small to see, but with consequences that can be felt across the entire world. But knowing about these 4 gateways isn't a reason to be afraid. It's a reason to feel empowered. By understanding how viruses get in, you have the power to help block the entrances and better protect yourself from these microscopic invaders.